The practice scenario for this is the automation of daily financial reporting. Shall we take a look at the working procedures before we start with the automation? First, search for the financial status on the web, write a report, attach the written report file, and then send it by email. In the report, write today's date, KOSPI, and the Samsung SDS stock price. Now, let's design a process based on the work procedures. The financial index will be entered into the report through the financial status search, and it will include today's date, KOSPI, and the stock price. They can be searched for on the web and then inserted into the report. So, we will implement the financial status search process as a task to search for KOSPI and a task to search for the stock price. Next, writing a report includes opening the report template file, entering the date, KOSPI, and stock price, and saving it. The reporting process is implemented as a single task. Lastly, the procedures for sending email includes logging in, attaching the written report file, and sending it. Similarly, the process for sending email is implemented as a single task too. Overall, the process to automate is composed of 4 tasks in total. You can create each task and connect them to complete a single automation process. Take a look at the name and order of each task. Shall we start the exercise? First, let's create a task that reads the KOSPI index. First, we create a work procedure to search KOSPI and design a flowchart according to the work procedure. The work procedure includes opening Google, searching KOSPI, and reading the KOSPI index. Here, you can use the Open App, Text Input, and Get Text activities. Create a new task when the project has already been created. Right-click on the task, enter the task name and description. And press the Create button. You can open a website with the Open App activity that runs a web app, the Open Browser activity that opens Internet Explorer, or the Web Open activity that allows you to choose a browser type, such as Internet Explorer or Chrome. Here, let's open Chrome with the Open App activity. Drag the Open App activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. In the Properties window on the right that appears when you click the activity, enter Chrome in the command. Make sure that you enter the app name in the single quotation marks. Now, let's press the Run button and check if the Chrome app opens properly. You can see that the Chrome app is running properly, like so. Now let's search KOSPI. To check if the search box appeared before we search KOSPI, drag the Wait Appear activity and connect it to the canvas. Double-click the right side of the activity to specify the area to enter the search term. Next, let's search KOSPI in the search box. Drag the Text Input activity to connect it to the canvas. To specify the area to enter the text, double-click the right side of the activity to target the search box. Then, in the Property window on the right that appears when you select the Text Input activity, enter KOSPI in the Input Text item. And set True for Done. This is a setting that automatically executes the search by entering the search term and pressing the Enter key. Let's continue and run the activity by right-clicking the Text Input activity and selecting Run from Here from the menu. When Designer runs, you can see the screen where the Cosby search has been completed. After the search is complete, add the Wait Appear activity from the library to verify if the search is completed successfully. Drag the Wait Appear activity and connect it to the canvas. Then double-click the right side of the activity and specify Cosby from the search results as the target. Also, to get the Cosby value from the search results screen, use the Get Text activity. Drag the activity to connect to the canvas. Then double-click the right side of the activity and specify the area to read the Cosby value. To save the Read Cosby value, create a variable named Cosby as a global type. Then assign that variable to the output result or the Get Text activity properties. Also, an error will occur if it is determined that the check name in the activity in the Properties window matches the Cosby value in the name value of the target. Since the Cosby value can always fluctuate, set the check name value to false. Next, drag Message Box in the library area, connect it to the canvas, select the activity, and specify global.cosby in the arguments part of the input. So, shall we run it from the beginning now? If you close all open Chrome apps and click the Run button, you can see that the Cosby search is completed and the final result value is displayed in the message box. Now, delete the message box activity that you added to check the result and complete the first task. Now, let's create a second task that reads the stock price. Designing the work procedures and flowchart concept is as follows. To search for Cosby, we can search for Samsung SDS stock on the Google website and read the stock price. Here, we can utilize the text input, Wait Appear, and Get Text activities. First, without opening a new window, we will use the Chrome app that was opened for Cosby search to search the stock price. Create a new variable to set it in the Chrome app we opened first. Set the global type variable called Chrome and specify global.chrome in the output PID of the Open App Activity properties. The Chrome app open now can be called or used as a variable called global.chrome. Now, let's create a task to search stock price. In the New Task pop-up window that appears by right-clicking the task in the left project area, enter the task name and description. And press the Create button to create a new task. Then, to type a search term in the search box, drag the text input activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Double-click on the right side of the activity and specify the area to put the search term as the target. Type global.chrome in the index of the activity property window and type Samsung SDS stock in the input text. And set the Done Enter property to True. Now, let's press the Run button and check if it works properly. If the execution was successful, you will see the following search results screen. Before fetching the stock price using the getText activity, check whether the results were properly viewed using the Wait Appear activity. In the library area on the left, drag the Wait Appear activity to connect it next to the text input activity in the canvas. Double-click the right side of the activity and specify the Samsung SDS that appears on the search results screen as the target. Next, drag the getText activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Double-click the right side of the activity and specify the stock price as the target. To continue writing the report, create a global variable called stock to save the stock price, and then specify global.stock in the result of the getText activity properties. Then set false for the check name, check value, and check size properties. Next, add the message box activity to test if it runs properly. And specify global.stock in the arguments of the property area on the right that appear when the activity is selected. Now, shall we press the Run button and check if the stock price is being read properly? We can see that the search for the Samsung SDS stock price is completed in Chrome, and the final result is well read in the message box as follows. Now, delete the message box activity, which was added to check the result, and complete the task to search the stock price. Let's continue with the second exercise, writing a report. This time, we will create a report by creating a Writing a Report task. This is the report template we saw earlier. Enter today's date at the top, global.kospi for Kospi, and global.stock for the stock price. Here, for Kospi, stock price, and exchange rate, simply enter the variable values obtained as a result in the previous exercise. Today's date needs to be obtained by using JavaScript. In summary, the definition of the work procedure for writing a report and the flowchart design are as follows. The work procedure is to decide what to enter in the report. Open the report file, write it, and save it. Here, you can use the Execute script, open Excel, write range, and save Excel activities. First, the report template file is a file used every day for daily reporting, so we will add it to the resource. Right-click on Resources, select Add Resources in the pop-up window that appears, and select a report form file to add. Next, create a new task for report writing. In the New Task pop-up window that appears by right-clicking the task in the left project area, enter the task name and description. And press the Create button to create a new task. Now, let's write a script to get today's date. Drag the Execute script activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Select the activity. Double-click on the script from the Properties area on the right. Then the window to write the script will appear. Enter the script here. Create a global variable called Today to get today's date and create a normal variable for each year, month, and day because the year, month, day format is used. Write the script as follows. When the writing is finished, click the Apply button below to save the script. Next, we will use the message box activity to see if today's date comes in properly. Drag the message box activity from the library area. Connect it to the canvas. And select the message box activity. Then, assign the global.today variable to the argument in the properties area on the right. Then click the Run button on the top to run the task, and check if today's date is displayed properly. Check if today's date is displayed properly as follows, and delete the message box activity. Now that we have the values necessary for the report, such as the date, the COSPI, and the stock price, let's write a process for opening the report template file in the resource, writing the report, and saving the file. Drag the Open Excel activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Enter the file path registered in the resource in the path of the properties that appears when selecting the activity. And when opening a file registered as a resource, add the file name, including the extension after the global variable called global.resource_dir. Also, right-click on the Open Excel activity. Select Run to Here from the menu that appears, and run the activity written so far. Now, let's enter today's date in the report. Drag the right range activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. From the Properties area that appears after selecting the activity, enter global.today in the Data Array section and the cell location where today's date will be written in the Start Cell section. Next, add two right range activities to enter the COSPI and stock price into the report. Now, let's save the values entered in the report. Drag the Save Excel activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Then select the activity and specify the path and file name to save in the Properties area. For file name, use the name of the original report template file plus today's date. And for today's date, use the global.today variable. Finally, add Close Excel activity to close the saved Excel file. Now that the task of creating the report is complete, let's click the Run button and run the task. Then, we can see that the report file is saved in the specified path as follows. Let's move on to the third practice. This time, we will create a mail sending task and send the report to you by mail. Designing the work procedures and flowchart concept is as follows. The procedure includes logging into the email, opening the window for sending emails, attaching the report file, and sending the email. We can use Web Open, Text Input, and Click Activities for each procedure. Now, let's create a mail sending task. Right-click the task to create a new task. Enter the task name and description. And click the Create button. Next, drag the Open Browser activity from the Library area and connect it to the canvas. In the Properties area that appears when you select the activity, enter the URL of the website to send the email. Then click the Run button on the toolbar and check if the browser is running properly. Now, let's log in by entering your ID and password. Drag the text input activity from the Library area, connect it to the canvas, and specify the target area to enter the ID. Select the text input activity and enter the ID in the Input Text section in the Properties area that appears. Next, connect the text input activity for the password to the canvas and specify the area to enter the password. Since the password is personal information that requires encryption, from the Properties area of the text input, you must select Secure from the Input Text options and enter the password without the single quotation marks. Then, set the Done Enter part to True. Select the first text input activity to make sure you are logged in properly. Right-click on the menu that appears and press Run from here to start. When you log in, you can see that the first screen appears as follows. To send an email, you have to go to the email screen and click the Mail menu at the top. For this, drag the click activity from the Library area and connect it to the canvas. Then double-click on the right of the activity and specify the Mail menu as the target. Right-click on the click activity and, in the menu that appears, click Run from here to run the activity and go to the Mail screen. Now that we have entered the Mail screen, shall we try to write one? In the Library area, drag the click activity, connect it to the canvas, and double-click on the right of the activity to target the Compose button on the Mail screen. Then, to see if a new Mail composition screen appears, select the second click activity, then right-click on it and click Run from here on the menu that appears. Then, you will see that the Compose button is clicked and a new window for sending a mail will appear. Now, let's write the subject and body to send the email and add the recipients. First, let's write the subject. In the Library area, drag the text input activity and connect it to the canvas. Double-click on the right side of the activity to target the subject area. Then, in the Property area on the right, write the subject you want to enter in the Input Text section. Now, let's write the body of the mail. In the same way as above, the text input activity is used as the subject of the mail to target the mail body and enter the mail content. Let's continue and write recipients. Specify the recipient by using the text input in the same way as entering the subject and body of the mail. In the Activity Properties area, enter the recipients in the Input Text section and set the Done Enter part to True. Now, let's attach a file. To attach a file, we need to click the PC button of the attachment in the Mail composition window. Use the Click activity to specify the area to click the PC button. To check if it was written properly so far, select the Click activity, right-click on it, and Run from here to run the activity. Then we can see a pop-up window for attaching the file that appears as follows. Let's continue writing the file path and file name to attach the file. Specify the path at the top. Enter the file name and extension in the bottom and press Enter. For the path, file name, and extension to be entered here, use the same value entered in the Save Excel activity of the Writing Report task created earlier and open the written report file. Next, use two text input activities to set the input values for both the file path and file name. First, drag the text input activity from the library area. Connect it to the canvas. Specify the area to enter the file path, and write the path in the input text area of the Activity Properties area. Next, drag the text input activity from the library area and connect it to the canvas. Double-click the right side of the activity to specify the target to enter the file name. Then enter the file name and extension in the input text part of the Activity Properties. Set the Done Enter part to True. Select the activity to enter the path of the pop-up window to check that the file attachment is completed. Right-click on it and click Run from here to run the activity. Now, we can see that the file attachment is completed. Now that the mail is written, let's press the Send button and finally send it. Use the Click activity to click the Send button. If we click the Send button, a pop-up window for confirmation appears as shown below. Now, click on the Yes button by using the Click activity to send the mail. This is the last practice. So far, we have automated all of the procedures of daily financial status reporting. Let's connect the completed tasks and run them as a single process. First, in the new process, connect the previously created task in order between the start and end notes. When the connection is complete, click the Run button on the toolbar to run the entire process. Then, you can see that the searching financial status, writing reports, and sending mail tasks are automated as follows.